and welcome to YesLingo's class on the Chinese Zodiac. I'm your host, Betty. Now, this show is all about getting familiar with Chinese astrology. That's right. In the West, we probably are all familiar with the astrological signs. For example, if I asked you right now, what's your sign? You'd probably immediately reply with something like, I'm a Taurus, or I'm an Aquarius. But what if somebody asked you, what's your Chinese zodiac sign? And I guarantee you, when you come to China, you will get asked that. So what do you say? Well, you would instead reply with something like, I'm a rat, or I'm a pig. So what's all this about? Do Chinese people just like to compare people to animals? Well, in a sense, yes. The Chinese zodiac is essentially an animal representation of different years. One's personality, luck, prosperity, and future are all thought to be related to his or her zodiac sign. So in this series, we're going to learn all about the Chinese zodiac, and by the end of this series, you should be able to identify your own zodiac sign, and for the singles out there, our program might even help you find a future mate, because we'll also learn about the compatibility of different zodiac signs. So, are you ready to start exploring the Chinese zodiac? Okay, let's get started. Before we even get into the details of the different zodiac signs, we've got to learn about what exactly the zodiac is, what does it represent, and what is its significance in Chinese culture. Well, just as in the Western zodiac, the Chinese zodiac also has 12 symbols. Each zodiac symbol in Chinese is called a sheng xiao. Because there are 12, we call them 12个生肖, which literally translates to the 12 zodiac signs. Now, unlike the Western zodiac, one round of the Chinese zodiac takes 12 years instead of just 12 months. So every year, according to the Chinese calendar, is represented by a different animal, as you can see on this nice little calendar. So a full cycle takes 12 years to complete. Speaking of calendars, the Chinese calendar is based on the cycles of the moon instead of the sun, and this is often called the lunar calendar or 农历. And this system was used back in ancient times mainly for agricultural purposes. Chinese New Year is actually based on the lunar calendar, and it differs from the Gregorian calendar in that New Year's Day is never really set. It always ranges between mid-January to the beginning of February. Let's take 2013 as an example. The 2013 Chinese New Year fell on February 10th, and 2013 is the year of the snake. That means if a baby was born on February 9th, his zodiac sign is the one from the previous year, so he would be a little dragon. Let's take a look at my personal zodiac sign just as a case study to help you understand how to figure out your own zodiac sign. So I'm going to disclose my age here. I was born in 1985, and that happened to be the year of the ox, or some people will call it the bull. So that means that 12 years before 1985, or 1973, was also the year of the ox. So anyone born in 1973 is also an ox. Both my grandmothers also happen to be oxen. One was born in 1937. She's 48 years older than I am. And the other was born in 1925. She's 60 years older than I am. So do you see how people who have the same zodiac sign will have ages that are all off by factors of 12? If someone were to ask me about my zodiac sign, I'd reply, 我属牛. Right here. 我属牛. 我属 basically means I belong to. So by saying 我属 followed by your zodiac sign, you're attributing yourself to that sign. So somebody asks you, 你属什么? What's your zodiac sign? You'd answer 我属 followed by your sign. So now it's time to figure out what exactly your sign is. Let's start by taking a closer look at the 12 animals of the Chinese zodiac. One round of the lunar calendar begins with a rat and ends with a boar, or as some people call it, the pig. Let's take a look at this chart together and look at the 12 zodiac signs in order. I'm going to read all of these out loud, and you can read along with me. The first sign is rat, 鼠, 鼠. Ox is 牛, 牛. And tiger is 虎, 虎. Rabbit is 兔, 兔. Dragon is 龙, 龙. Snake is 蛇, 蛇. Horse is called 马, 马. And goat is 羊, 羊. Monkey is 猴, 猴. Rooster is 鸡, 鸡. Dog is 狗, 狗. And finally, pig is 猪, 猪. So where exactly did these animals come from? I mean, where's lion? Where's bear? Where's ostrich on the list? Well, there are actually many folk tales that account for how these specific 12 animals were chosen, and one of them goes as follows. One day, the Jade Emperor called a meeting at his palace, and he decreed that the years on the calendar would be named for the first 12 animals in the order in which they arrived to this big meeting. However, there was one rather large challenge for all the animals. The Jade Emperor's palace was only accessible by crossing a river. And here it is that we meet our first two animal contestants, the cat and the rat. They were the two worst swimmers in the animal kingdom, yet they were the most clever animals, so they decided to team up together to cross the river. They talked the naive but good-natured ox into carrying them across the river on his back. Midway across the river, Rat pushed Cat into the water, leaving Cat out of the race. As Rat and Ox approached the opposite shore, Rat leaped off Ox's back and reached the shore first. Thus, Rat took first place and Ox came in second. Third to arrive was the powerful Tiger, who explained to the Jade Emperor that he had to battle strong currents in the river, resulting in his third-place finish. No sooner came the Rabbit, hopping along to the finish line. He had crossed the river by leaping over the protruding stones. But halfway across the river, he fell into the water, but was lucky to catch onto a floating log and drift to shore, so Rabbit finished fourth. Next came the Flying Dragon. Now, Jade Emperor was very confused as to why such a swiftly flying dragon would place fifth. The dragon explained that on his way he had to stop to make rain to help Earth's people and animals during the drought. Also, on his way, he saw a poor drowning rabbit in the river, so he blew a strong gust of wind to help the rabbit ashore. Pleased by the dragon's actions, the Jade Emperor added him as the fifth member of the calendar. Suddenly, they heard a galloping noise and saw a horse running towards them. However, the sly and clever Snake was hiding on the horse's hoof and suddenly exposed himself right before Horse reached the finish line, spooking the horse. So, Snake took the sixth spot and Horse took the seventh. Soon after came Goat, Monkey, and Rooster. They had formed a team and worked together to cross the river. Rooster had spotted a raft and took the other two animals with him. Goat and Monkey helped to clear the weeds on the shore, and they were able to pull the raft ashore. The Jade Emperor was happy to see the animals cooperate and named Goat, Monkey, and Rooster as the 8th, 9th, and 10th animals on the calendar. Dog came in 11th. Now this might surprise you because Dog should be a really good swimmer, right? Well, yes, indeed, Dog was the strongest swimmer, but, as we all know, he also loved to play, and he couldn't resist playing in the river just a little longer, so he came in 11th. And finally, everyone heard an oink oink and turned to see a pig crossing the finish line. Halfway through the race, he had stopped to feast, and then he had fallen asleep, so Pig had come in last. And Cat? What happened to Cat? Well, he unfortunately drowned in the river and never made it to be part of the zodiac calendar. And it is said that that is why cats chase after rats to this day as revenge for the way rat treated him. So from this story, we can see that each creature in the zodiac has its defining characteristics, which we'll learn about more in detail in the coming lessons. In addition to the actual animals of the zodiac, this chart will help to give us the dates for each zodiac sign. So why don't you take a minute to look at this chart and see if you can find the year of your birth. That way you can figure out what's your zodiac sign. After looking at this chart and seeing all the dates, have you figured out your own zodiac sign? Let's do a little practice here. I'm going to ask you what your sign is in Chinese by saying 你属什么? And you can reply with 我属 followed by your sign. Do you remember how to say your sign? Okay, let's try this. 你属什么? Did you get it? All right, great. So hopefully you have a general idea of the Chinese zodiac after today's lesson. Let's review what we've learned today. We know now that there are 12 zodiac signs, and each zodiac sign represents one entire lunar year. Every sign's animal has special personality characteristics that are thought to be reflected in the people who belong to that sign. To tell someone your zodiac sign, you can say 我属 plus the sign. Today was just a brief introduction. Starting from the next lesson, we're going to learn about each sign a little more in depth. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm Betty. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon on the next episode of Chinese Zodiac.